Okay, so this is Dennis Malone's second assignment, second writing assignment, and like I said at the beginning, right off bat, he said I'm going to write it for my student, for my classmates, for the student in my class. I thought they should know about this. Okay? About what? About this person, Shannon. And because of him, let's see, our Zoom instruction, our emails are possible because of this person. Okay? And I think we talked about this before. Dennis noticed that Shannon had double major in mathematics and in electrical engineering. And I think both Shannon and Hussein picked up on this. You took digital circuit, at least seniors took digital circuit, right? IPGA did and all that. It's all made possible by Shannon and nobody else. Okay? When Shannon was studying electrical engineering, did somebody say something? When Shannon was studying electrical engineering, it was all relays, switching circuit, on and off, and so on. It's designed by trial and error. Okay? People are very good at putting together, making it work, but it's all trial and error. And Shannon at MIT, when he graduated from Michigan, went to MIT to get a master's thesis, and I think this is the most famous master's thesis. In his master's thesis, he connects electrical engineering to formal logic. Formal logic is a branch of philosophy, right? And in particular, to Boolean algebra. We don't have a philosophy department anymore. We used to have a logic as a philosophy class for sophomore and for freshmen in place of mathematics. And so logic is a very very big part of a philosophy to discipline your thinking, in a way. Shannon has the talent, has the genius to see the connection. So double major to him is real. It's not like you sometimes here we just get the two diplomas to enhance our job opportunity. To Shannon, this is as real as you can get. He studied mathematics, so he can understand electrical engineering better and connect it to something analytical, to something mathematical, so that you do not have to do trial and error all the time. You can build a theory to support your practice in electrical engineering. So Shannon called it a symbolic analysis of relay and switching circuit. A symbolic analysis, this is from symbolic logic. Yeah? And that's what the word means. So this, because of his work, you have today a digital circuit class. You have FPGAs, you have all these nice gadgets electronically. And so right off that, Shannon is double talent. He's an engineer, he's also a mathematician of highest degree in both. And if anything, let's give you an idea what you can aspire to. Right? I see every year some students just aspire to get a degree, get a piece of paper. Others have higher standards. They want to make the best of their life. I can see that in every assignment you turn in, your effort level, your interest level, your enthusiasm. And so I said it to students with aspirations, look up Shannon. Dennis is absolutely right. This is a person that we can draw inspiration from. Right? And some of you can even mimic the way Shannon did his work. Right? Of course, not everyone can copy him. Probably no one can copy him. But you see, from his work, from his way of working, of thinking, you get an idea. So what is the electrical engineering? What do we do here? What do we need to cultivate in ourselves for us to do great work in the field? And Shannon cultivated his talent in mathematics and his talent in engineering, in particular circuit design. Yeah. So what about you? What area you want to cultivate? You want to grow? You want to find your strengths, right? Worry about your weakness later. Find your strengths, develop it. Make it a focus of your education experience. You grow from it. You establish yourself. You establish yourself as an engineer. Right? And this is something we can learn from Shannon. And Dan is absolutely correct that we up to this point we have never heard about him, but we should. The other talent that Dennis, this is what I enjoy when I read your essays, because each person had a way of picking out the materials. There's a vast amount of materials out there, but Dennis has the intuition, the insight to pick out a certain thing. This is a relatively short essay, 2 or 3 pages. But then you pick out the one that I think is illuminating piece. Look at this. Look at this quote. My first thinking about information theory. This is nicely put. You put it in the bracket for the things he meant but didn't say. So this is nicely done. My thinking about information theory was how you best improve information transmission over a noisy signal. That's an engineering problem. Whether a telephone or telegraph, you're transmitting you're transmitting information through a wire. He called it a noisy channel. That's an abstraction, just a wire, right? At that time, it's just a wire. Later on, you expand it to wireless communication, and then channel is more general, more abstract. So you see the mind of Shannon. He never stays at engineering level. He always aspires to go to a higher level, more abstract level. So the principles he developed or he learned can be more applicable. Right? And this, in a way, distinguish a technician from engineer to scientist from engineer. Right? I have more to say about that later, but look at this code. Very nicely done here, and quoted Shannon saying this. This was a specific problem when you are thinking about the telegraph system or telephone system. But when you get to thinking about the word thinking, thinking about that, you begin to generalize. That's a key word, to generalize in your head about all these broader applications. This is what makes iPhone, the cell phone in your pocket, possible, because Shannon found a law of physics almost like a law of physics in terms of information, in terms of communication. And the details of this, Hussein explained in his paper very well. We'll get to that in a second. But here, what Shannon articulated is a general communication system. Okay, and it's applicable to telegraph, applicable to telephone, but just as well as applicable to any communication system today. And you have source, you have transmitter, you have a signal that's going through a channel. Channel has noise, and you receive it, and you have to decode the signal and get your message back. The message you piggybacked on the signal in the first place. Right? So so your cell phone can be explained like this, except this channel here is not wired, it's wireless. You know, you can go from 2G, 3G, 4G to today it's 5G. Doesn't matter. This is a general communication system. And that's the power of thinking, power of abstract thinking. So he had a theory, not just for the particular system he worked at when he was at the BioLab. At the BioLab is a telephone company. But he went way beyond the telephone company. So I think this could be a very introductory level introduction or primer for Shannon as a unique individual, both an engineer and a mathematician. But exactly what did he do to warrant such a fame? And for that, you need another level of skills or abstract thinking to just get enough from what you read and experience what you understand. So that's the work of Hussein. That's the work of Hussein. Also, Ralph?
Yes.
Yeah. This is something that I don't want you to get too much ahead of yourself. I don't say this easily. I don't say it very often. This is what you did here is something I cannot do better.
I'm not sure what to say to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
I
say
appreciate
anything.
it.
You don't need to say anything. I'm just telling you as I see it. This is that good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. And let me add one more comment. I don't know, Hussein, what your career plan is. But I see being a professor, not as a job, but as a way of life.
Yeah, it's something I have in mind, definitely.
Definitely, you should think about that as a career, as a career choice. Right? So I say that also to get attention from everyone in the class. I know you're hiding behind the black screens, but I want you to take a look at this because this is worth paying attention to. Right? So and also Hussein started in the first essay, and I use it as an example in class already. Right? I bring it back. I want to focus on something here. Right? First of all, he was a mathematician and electrical engineer. Right? Not only he double majored in mathematics and electrical engineering, he really became a mathematician and engineer, both at the same time of highest rank, in my opinion. That's a hero. That's a hero of me, and that's a hero of many people. That's somebody we should all know about. I mean, Dennis was absolutely right. You know, we shouldn't go through electrical engineering curriculum without knowing who Shannon is, and and more importantly, what we can learn from him. You can go on the web and check out the MIT thesis, master thesis of Shannon, while at the same time get hold of his PhD dissertation. PhD dissertation is in mathematics. Master thesis is in electrical engineering. And later on, what made him famous, what made him father information theory, is this mathematical theory of communication. So in this, you see three things, like in the Stanford professor's article, 3 persons in one: a mathematician, an engineer, and on top of that, a scientist, a real scientist. He invented the science of information. How did he do that? Can I get a very condensed description of what exactly he did. Well, Hussein managed very well to do this. Okay, he encapsulated what makes Shannon Shannon in just 2 or 3 paragraphs. Do I get your attention? behind the screen. Okay? And let me add something here, because there's only so much space in the essay. Cryptography, encryption, World War II, military. It's a war. You have to make your communication secret so the enemy don't hear it. Right? That's Shannon's work during the war. That and also anti-aircraft gun control. Right? But why cryptography? What did he learn in cryptography that helped him helped his future work? In what regard? So in a very short summary, Shannon, through cryptography, discovered you can encode the message. The message is encoded, so the enemy, even if the enemy receive it, they don't know what you're talking about. Right? That's the encryption part. But in the process, he discovered entirely something else, and he was able to generalize it. He discovered if you encode message, encode say a message on a carrier wave, and you transmit it over the air, it gets better. The accuracy gets better. Same communication channel, but if you somehow encode, you don't transmit the original message like the human voice. Obviously, we cannot transmit human voice as it is over long distance. We have to modulate it onto something. But this is our modulation. This is encryption. This is a change message into bits, and then transmit the bits, then decode it. He found this way is much more efficient. So what is the bits? Bits is just a unit, but what is the idea of encoding? So coding and encoding was a big item, a big deal in the communication theory. How do you code something? And that's where Hussein will be able to tell you. This is similarly noticed by Dennis, but let me go to the next one. And this is really what make Shannon father of information age. And that's why the Stanford professor David Seuss said, Shannon invented the future for us. He invented a future for us. If it was not for him, we don't know where we are today, where we would be today. Right? And this is not trivial. This takes a genius to conceive something like this. Right? So here are the 3 steps. First, and this is in Hussein's original words. So you look at the writing here, very precise, very clear, no extra words. So that's the quality I'm looking at. If you think your writing is pretty good, well, think again. See if you can get rid of more unnecessary words, make it shorter, make it more concise, explain more with fewer words. And we can all improve on that, myself included. Right? So first, Shannon has to give information a unit, a measure. This is not minerals. This is now the green. It's something you can use. You can weigh. This is something. The measure is totally in your mind. It's totally abstract. And his word, and we're still using it. Bits. 8 bits, 16 bits. Now your computer is 32 bits, 64 bits. This idea is concept from Shannon. He gave us not only the idea, but quantifying it, the unit, the bits. So this is the quantitative measure of the information you transmit. Otherwise, everyone is doing hand waving, and nobody can say precisely what is it we're communicating with. So using bits provide the most resilience to channel noise, and this was the discovery he had in the war. And how do you measure the uncertainties in a message? Well, the message. I think last time we mentioned the key to communication is the fundamental issue of uncertainty, and entropy is the measure. Entropy is the concept. This is what makes Shannon a scientist. He created out of nothing. This is the average measure of information in a message. The more the higher the entropy, the more uncertainty, the more bits. If you already know what I'm going to say, what I say has no message, has no information. It's already there. But if you don't know what I'm going to say, to a large extent, next, then what I say has information. Right? That's the insight Shannon gave us. And this is measured by probability. By probability, communication engineer in his time had no idea what probability is, not to mention probability theory. The uncertainties, the randomness of messages can only be described by the mathematical theory of probability. This is why you take probability theory, the first course at graduate school when you study communication theory. Probability is the fundamental course. That's the first graduate level course I took. Right? Because this is how you measure the message content. This is how you quantify the amount of bits in the message. And this is a mathematical formula. Right? And P sub j is the probability. And the log 1 over P sub j. This represents the the more uncertainty means the probability is smaller. When the inverse of that is bigger, the amount of information is bigger. So this is a mathematical description of the amount of information in a message. The unit is bits. This is a giant step. This is no less than people going to the moon or landing on Mars today. Did the NASA rover landed yet? Was it today? So
not yet, Professor.
Not yet? Oh, okay. Let me know. Breaking news, right? What they say, the last 7 minutes is 7 minutes of hell. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Because there's so much uncertainty to it. Right? So uncertainty is the key word in engineering. If we know everything, then a problem is easy. But it's because we don't know. To a large extent, we don't know what we're dealing with. But we design a system to cope with it. And then that's a challenge in our design. How do we design something, either a communication system or control system to deal with the uncertainty? That's something for later. Anyway, Shannon gave us the measure, the quantitative measure of the amount of information. you talk about signal and systems in our class. And signals are physical existence, right? But information is why we have signal in the first place. We don't do signal for the sake of signals. Signal carries something, and what signal carry is information. So we really have to get to the fundamental basic level of science in terms of mirroring the signal, in terms of quantifying it, in terms of describing it precisely using the right mathematic languages. And that's only Shannon can do because he knows both sides. He knows engineering side, he builds communication channels, telephones, right? But also he knows the mathematical theory like probability, and he sees the connection. He made the connection for us. And I couldn't think of another person capable of doing this. Have the training or talent on both sides of the equation to do this. I still cannot think of a person. I've been reading about this. I've been reading history of electrical engineering. Heaviside come close, but heaviside is another different story, and then we can talk about later. Yeah. This year, nobody wrote about heaviside. Last year, there was a couple of people writing about heaviside. It's more of a father of electrical engineering, but Shannon is entirely a different level. So now with the bits, with the amount of information defined, right? And how fast do you transmit it? There's a transmitter, right? How fast? Well, bits per second, of course. That's the message read. You want to transmit the message at least within a certain time, right? to go to the other side. You don't want to take it forever. It will take too long, but by the time message gets there, it's useless. So timing is the issue, is the paramount importance. So this is another quantity called source rate. Source rate, right? Bits per second. That's 5G, right? 5 gigabits per second, literally, right? So that's a quantity. The next crucial concept is channel capacity. How fast your channel is or is capable of, right? And that has something to do with the amount of noises you have, or signal to noise ratio. Right? So this quantity, the channel capacity, defines the limit on how fast you can transmit, whether telephone wire or 5G. Right? You have very different speed, but the principle is the same. The principle that defines the telephone wire transmission rate, and the principle defines the 5G channel transmission rate is exactly the same principle. This is why Shannon still dominates today. His theory still dominates the 5G construction, the 5G network design. Think about that. Right? So now you have inequality for the signal to be able to go through the channel as you intend. This inequality must satisfy, meaning your channel capacity must be bigger than your source rate. Right? And this is a fundamental rule. And because Shannon put it all on very sound mathematical foundation, Shannon is called the father of information theory. Think about that. This is entirely something different. Let's take a couple minutes and let it sink in. Okay? but I like it from the get-go. You're very clear. You know, everyone in your class should know about Shannon. Yeah, so do something about it. Make it your job to educate people about Shannon. See, I didn't tell you to do Shannon, right? You chose to do Shannon.
Yeah.
And you made a good case for it.
Right. Yeah, because I was looking at other people, but most of the people I've heard of, maybe know a little bit about, but I had never heard of Shannon. So
Right.
just wanted to try something new.
Right.
Learn about someone new.
Right. So that I think that's also true in general. Find something interesting to tell. You know, if everyone is writing about Edison, then find somebody else to write.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very surprised to learn about him. I did not know anything about him beforehand, so it's pretty cool. And pretty surprised I actually had never heard of him.
You would think we should have heard about him by now.
Right.
Right. You would think so. But I guess that's a shame, really.
I guess they came out the documentary about him a couple years ago. It's on Amazon Prime Video. I haven't watched it yet, but maybe this weekend. But it's supposed to be pretty good. It's called the Bit Player.
Oh, the big. Okay. Yeah, it's we should make it the integral in our program to know these people.
Right.
Because this is not just a history buff. This is not just for our personal interest. It is this is going to impact us in what we will try to become.
Right. Yeah, it gives us examples of people who have done it before us, you know, and it pushes us and shows us different ways to do it.
Right. And Ohio borders Michigan, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that far from Michigan.
Right.
And Ohio has our own heroes, Edison, like the Wright brothers, right? So Midwest is a good place to study engineering. You have a lot of role models.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did anybody find out about Shannon's birthplace, where he was born? What was it like? Good. How he before he got into University of Michigan, what was it like for him to
I know he graduated high school like at 16, I think, or something like that. So he was pretty smart growing up, and I think he messed around a lot with like gadgets and radios and stuff like that.
Right. A lot of interest, right? Yeah, that.
I don't know where he got the interest from. Maybe his parents. I think maybe his mom was a teacher, maybe, but really I don't know.
Right. But that just shows you the personality. He's not just narrowly focused on one thing. He's full of life. Anybody else have anything did it touch you in any way? Did it ring any bells?
I found it very interesting just looking at everybody else's writing, because like for one assignment to be written in so many different ways, just I don't know, it's just weird because I'm used to only seeing like my writing, whereas now I see it's like formatted in a slightly different way, or it's like just told in a different way than I would tell it. So it's interesting to see, and I definitely would like to adapt my writing a little bit based on what I've seen.
That's a nice take. It points you to different directions. So instead of a assembly line, like most university are like, you put people on a conveyor belt from freshman to senior, and you make them do everything the same way. But by the time you get out of that conveyor belt, you lost the ability to think on your own. Right? So that's definitely a stress individualities. It's the same assignment you can do. You can go in so many different directions. I look forward to seeing the videos. Anyone else? Any input? Otherwise, you're just a name on a black screen. If I cannot put a face to it, at least help me put a voice to it. Come on.
Are we going to watch the videos during class?
That's a good question. I will pick a few and let's watch together. In half an hour, we can watch 10 of them. Right? So, okay. I don't know what I can do to follow up on that. To be honest, that's alone made my day. This make my job so enjoyable to see your growth, even in a short period of just 4 weeks. To see you grow into your own, at least in a small way, and I hope that trend continues. From the writing to term paper assignment, this is your sandbox. You can play any way you want to play. Like when you go when you graduate, some of you graduate this semester, right? Seniors, half a class graduate this semester, and nobody tells you what to do. You have to decide on your own what to do. How to do it, what to do, and how do you keep growing? This is not the end. This is the beginning. How do you keep improving your writing, your ability to communicate, to get maximum bits per second, and figure out what's your channel, what's the channel capacity around you, how much people can take from you, right? This is all applicable. Right? From person to person, the channel capacity is different. So you have to adjust your source rate, don't you? Right? So there's just a number of directions you can go with this, and I hope this class can help you in that way to make it come alive. Instead of just a few quizzes, a midterm exam, final exam, that's routine. Instead of that routine, you see a possibility of taking a class can be very different. Can be a very different experience. Can be an invigorating experience, enlightening experience. So this is all made possible by this remote learning, right? So-called remote learning. So the first time I taught this in the Zoom in the spring of last year. And one student in my class, like the light went on. He said, "Wow, geez, the class can be taught this way. We don't have to go downtown fighting for a parking spot or pay the parking fines. This can all be done on desktop. That's create all kind of possibilities." Anyway,